2019 is NJC's 50th anniversary. It is an important year for us because it marks the beginning of the next 50 years. For me, what is most important is how our students will develop and to be able to lead a good life. I hope that in the next 50 years, NJCians will live the motto of NJC, which is service with honor.
Well, my first impression when I walk into NJC is that I see a sea of grey, where I noticed that the grey uniform is pretty outstanding, especially with the shoulder epaulets, with the silver square buttons. I do see that our students actually have a sense of humility and respect for people from diverse and different kind of social cultural background.
When I first came to NJC, I felt very overwhelmed because there were huge buildings, a lot of stairs, and a very big track and field. And it made me feel very nervous and anxious. So on the first day of orientation, as I walked along the NJC walkway, there were a lot of OGLs who were very cheerful and they told me which way to go. So suddenly I felt very safe and secure because I knew that I would be in a very good environment with good teachers and amazing seniors, and I'm not wrong.
I remember her.
I remember you. We have no friends.
We started from here.
If not for YY, I wouldn't have done art, honestly, because I was just going to do science and stuff. And then eventually she was like, Sarah, do art. And then this, so I'm making films, and now I'm doing illustrations and painting.
On the first day of school, I was actually very lonely and insecure, and I was very scared. But through the various icebreakers and enthusiastic OGLs, I got to interact with some people, and I realized that they too shared the same problems as me. So I started to feel that I wasn't alone in this NJ journey. I had friends by my side who understood exactly how I felt, and they made my life in NJ much more memorable and warm.
Dr. Lim, she was my GP tutor. She was really someone who triggered the critical thinking in students and led us to question why certain things has to be addressed in certain manner, and also to look at other perspectives of how we see the world.
The one teacher who left an impression on me was my previous form teacher, Mrs. Heng. When I first came to NJ, I was very overwhelmed by the size of this school and the amount of people here. However, she was very caring. She always tries to keep a positive mindset toward all things and always motivates me and my class. For example, during road run, even though we were all very tired, she kept motivating us and cheering us on.
My first impression of NJCians would be inquisitive, thirsty for knowledge, like to ask me a lot of questions in class about various things.
觉得 NJC 的学生都很乖，每个都很活泼，很有礼貌。
NJC students are very polite and helpful, and some of the boys are very cheeky. You know, way they were in my store, they sometimes come disturb me. Auntie this, auntie that, or auntie I come first, or auntie or what.
Most of our lessons run in NJC are really interesting, and the teachers are really engaging. There's many class discussions which I really enjoy.
In JH4, our personal mentor actually arranged for us to visit Bollywood Veggies during CCE. And it was quite hilarious because on Racial Harmony Day, a couple of us were dressed in Indian clothes and we were at Bollywood Veggies. So we had a really great time reenacting Bollywood movie scenes and dancing around the trees. And the whole while our teacher was following us, taking extremely entertaining videos of the whole escapade. And I think the lively spirit in NJ is something that's been a regular fixture of my life here. And the best part is the teachers contribute to it while maintaining a balance of seriousness where necessary as well.
So it was a balloon sculpting session, and we And Mrs. Tan actually got some external vendors to come over and teach us balloon sculpting. It was a very unique experience for all of us because we never imagined ourselves to sculpt balloons into interesting shapes like flower, heart. Not only that we got to learn so many unique skills, but at the same time we also had a great laugh together because we laughed at one another when we saw the shocked expressions on one another's faces when the balloon popped. So it was a very wholesome experience for all of us and definitely something that I wouldn't forget in NJC.
Air rifle during our time was a lot of fun. It felt like a family.
It was very boring, honestly. We just stood there firing no bullets for like hours.
Yeah.
But it was also really cozy because we spent all our time in here. Like after school, you just come down here and hang out with because you always knew people in here and you just like lay around and
It became kind of like a family.
yeah.
So my CCA back then, right, was very interesting because we were at a certain crossroad between trying to build the program and the teacher sensed that we had a very good cohort. So back then we really wanted a very good conductor. His name is Professor Chan, but his schedule only allowed him to come at night. And so we banded together and we actually rehearsed way late after school from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. But it really bonded us together. We studied together after school, had dinner and then had rehearsal. But that time was a very unique time because we knew we were building towards something long term and the unity and the passion really brought us together. So it was a very fond memory back then.
Personally, other than to excel in the CCA, I feel that CCA sessions are actually the time where we get to interact with both our juniors and seniors. During my CCA sessions, I always take the opportunity to forge better bonds with them by having mini conversations or just having a good laugh. Because of this, I've always felt a sense of belonging in NJC because I know that I can count on my team as they will always be around looking out for one another, be it in school or not.
So I was part of the art elective program in 2003 and 4, and I remember spending a lot of time in that space working on different materials, and one of the pieces that was hanging at LT5 for a while was the watercolor woman on gears. That was my work for my A-levels. So I remember like sitting in the first floor of the AP rooms, cutting the compressed styrofoam boards, painting watercolor, learning how to use different heavy machinery in the space. So there were a lot of fond memories there as well.
To understand service of honor, I think the most important thing will be the attribute of love. So you do everything and anything that you do, right? It truly comes from the heart and truly comes from the love for the people around you and perhaps for yourself as well, where you know that whatever you're doing, you stand by it, and whatever you're doing, it really speaks to you. And to me, I think that is service with honor.
Through being in the Student Council, service with honor to me means taking pride in serving the student population. Through the various initiatives that we have carried out, I've seen how NJCians thoroughly enjoyed the activities that were planned and how they smiled from year to year. This is how I find meaning in whatever I do and is what keeps me motivated, passionate and excited to continue serving with honor.
The rumoured social life. I think back in my time, we had a reputation for being known as a mugger school. I think it might be true. In all honesty, I think we studied hard, definitely. Our teachers made sure we worked hard, built up a strong knowledge base. But I remember that we had a lot of good fun making our projects into something we could do outside of class. One particular time I remember was when we were given a project to research social trends. Back then, the bubble tea craze was all the rage. So I remember we spent almost every hour outside of class, travelling the island looking for bubble tea.
Well, I'm being in SH1 right now, so life is pretty hectic, and I guess you can say the workload is a lot harder than it is in my JH days. But throughout this period of time and my past 4 years in NJ, I have had friends across all levels, peers, juniors, seniors, and they would constantly come up to encourage me or just hang out over like a nice plate of Thai fun, or maybe we'll go to the nearby Starbucks for 1-for-1.
The way that NJ prepared me for the future was that the teacher back then, especially Mrs. Chung, she really allowed me the freedom to strategize and develop and build the CCA program with her. And the kind of freedom and confidence she gave me really put me in good standing for future leadership roles and development. So I really am very grateful for that.
I believe that NJC prepared me very well for the future? Well, you see, like for many of us, we came from neighborhood schools. So for us, NJC was the first time we get exposed to so many different things at the international level. So I was able to forge a lot of strong and good friendships with other students, international students from all over the world. And many of them still endure till today, and from that I was able to learn a lot of different things that influenced my career choices.